Andre Ward versus Chad Dawson. Most people are going for an Andre Ward victory in this fight. They think he's going to win a decision. And you can see why, because Dawson has had trouble with, old Bernard Hopkins, and he lost to Pascal. And, Andre Ward can fight in a lot of different styles, So if he wanted to emulate a Pascal type of style, he could. If he wanted to emulate a Hopkins type of style, he could. Or, maybe a combination of the two, plus his own, interpretation of what you need to do to beat Chad Dawson. You understand? So I can see why so many people are picking Ward. He's unbeaten. He's never really come close to losing yet. So, he's obviously the favorite. But at the same time, Andre Ward has never fought a top level southpaw before. Right? He's never fought a southpaw as good as Chad Dawson. So that he's stepping into the blue, into the unknown in this fight in terms of that. He's fought top level fighters, yeah, but he's never fought a technician as good as Dawson, and he's never fought a southpaw as good as Dawson. And the reason I mentioned southpaw is because a lot of fighters just can't deal with southpaws. They find it very difficult to deal with southpaws. Other fighters deal with them very well. Like Hopkins tends to deal with southpaws pretty well. So, we'll just have to see how it goes. But, my feeling is that Andre Ward, in his hometown of Oakland, whatever happens in the fight, will get a decision. That's how I feel. I feel whatever happens in the fight, he's going to get a decision, and that Dawson is going to have to knock him out to win this fight. Hats off to Dawson for coming down to 168. He challenged Ward at 168, so he's coming down and doing it at 168. Hats off to him for doing that, but I wonder if he's going to feel a little drained, maybe. I don't know. I know he has fought at 168 quite a few times before, but he's been fighting at 175 for the last few years. So it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts again to, making 168. Ward seemed very agitated at the weigh-in. Dawson seemed very cool, calm, and collected. But is he too cool, calm, and collected? Also, I've been wondering since this fight was made why Dawson chose to take this fight. Why he chose to come down to 168 and do this. It almost, to me, feels like there's some kind of personal beef that these guys have got. If anyone knows more about, that situation, if these guys have got any personal beef, then please let me know in the comment section below. But all I know about, the only connection I can make between Ward and Dawson is that Ward is good friends with Andre Dirrell. And apparently, according to Floyd Mayweather Sr., when he was training Chad Dawson was sparring with Dirrell, and he was getting the shit beaten out of him. Yeah? Andre Dirrell was beating the shit out of Chad Dawson in sparring, apparently. That's the only connection. That's as close as I can come to connecting Chad Dawson with Andre Ward. I mean, obviously, Ward and Dirrell are good friends. Maybe, he looked at Dirrell beating up, Dawson, supposedly beating up Dawson in sparring, and thought, wow, if Dirrell can do it, I can do it. So maybe there's a rivalry between, Ward because of that. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. It's strange for Dawson to come down and select Andre Ward. It's not like Andre Ward is a massive box office fighter or anything like that. But then again, I suppose he is bigger box office than anyone at 175 right now, because there's really no big fighters at 175. I mean, what's he gonna do? Rematch Hopkins again? I mean, no one really wants to see that. So I don't know. Maybe it's financial, even though Ward is not that big of a box office draw himself. But as far as how I see this fight going, like most people, I see Andre Ward winning the fight. I see him taking a 12-round decision, like I said, regardless of whether he actually deserves it or not, because it's in Oakland, and because Chad Dawson is not a guy who can force the issue. This is going to be a nip and tuck fight. It's going to be a fight where not that many clean punches get landed. So, in that kind of fight where it's really like a chess match, it's, you have to think that Andre Ward's going to get favor in this fight. I think Chad Dawson's best asset in this fight is going to be his jab. I think he's got a tremendous right jab, very quick punch, very long, and he needs to use that a lot. Yeah, he needs to use that a lot. He's definitely got a lot of reach on Andre Ward. Andre Ward is going to have to use his legs more. I think he's got much better legs than Chad Dawson, so he can use in and out movement, and he can try and ambush Dawson with that left hook. And that's another thing. Ward is not really known for his straight right hand. He does have a straight right hand, obviously, but he seems to be much more comfortable with the left hook. Yeah, that's why I'm intrigued to see him in there against a top-level southpaw, because, you know, as we know, the punch to beat southpaws most of the time is a straight right hand down the pipe. I'm sure Ward can throw that shot. He's a very gifted fighter. But when he throws it, he tends to, fall off balance slightly to his right. So I'm wondering whether Dawson can capitalize on that and, land the left hand counter. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it's an intriguing matchup. I think Ward is gonna try and get on the inside, push Dawson back at some stage, and make it the ugly fight that he likes to make it. Especially when he's fighting a guy that's taller than him, like he did when he fought Alan Green, etc. He's gonna try and do that if he can, because with the shorter arms, he's definitely got an advantage on the inside. Both are good defensive fighters, especially Ward. Very good defensive fighter. Even when he's coming forward, his defense is good. He keeps his hands up. When he throws his shots, if he throws a left hook, he makes sure his right hand is up, so he can't get caught with a left hook, counter himself. So, he's a very good defensive fighter. This is going to be a good tactical battle. Very interesting fight. And, yeah, like most people, I'm going to go with a Ward decision. It would, obviously, this is a close fight. Do you understand? Both of these guys are, very well matched in terms of skills, size, everything. You understand? They're very well matched, so Chad Dawson could definitely win this fight. He could definitely win this fight. Behind that big, long jab, maybe he could keep Andre Ward away, with that big, long jab, and just literally just go for points and then hope the judges, see it his way and that he don't get robbed in Oakland. It's possible. It's possible he could get a decision. I think either way, this fight is likely to go to a decision. A knockout is possible, but, both guys have got decent enough power. I don't think either guy is a knockout artist, but I don't think either guy is a Paulie Malignaggi either. Do you understand? I think both guys have got respectable power, but both guys are, good defensive fighters as well. Yeah, they're fundamentally sound, good defense. So I think it's going to be hard for either of them to land that many clean shots on the other guy to knock them out. But, anything is possible. You never know. Tempers might flare. You might get some heated exchanges. Then someone might let their guard slip for a split second and get caught, and you might see some knockdowns or a stoppage. But in all likelihood, it's going to be a distance fight, and like most people, surprise, surprise, I got Ward winning a decision. So yeah, let me know what you lot think in the comment section below. Very few people seem to be picking Dawson. Are you picking Chad Dawson in this fight? How much chance do you think Dawson has? I think this is, to me, it's a 55-45 fight in favor of Ward. Yeah, I don't make him a massive favorite at all. I give him probably like a 55% chance of winning. So there's still a big chance for Dawson to win in my mind anyway. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Who gets their tactics right? Who gets off to the best start? We'll see what happens in the fight. But yeah, I got Ward winning the decision anyway. So let me know what you lot think in the comment section below. This is Hatman. I'm out.